Amazing.
Welcome back to a special edition of the Get Up Girl, because we're always getting up here with your gal Joanna Vargas. I am extremely gushing with excitement, yummy excited for our second annual Slay Gals. I got three of my gals here that are truly, I know we throw this word around, but badass, show up. And gals, I want to throw this out there before we start. I was lying in bed and I'm like, I am so incredibly grateful for you gals. Like, you all show up. I know I could send you a text. Salome, shout out to Salome for putting this together. Thank you. Thank you so much, Salome. Really love you. Mwah. And that she can write to you and you girls are like, yeah, tell me when. Like, it's just always a yes. And I freaking love you for that. And women showing up for women and for our men too. I love that. I am so incredibly grateful because I know you girls are doing it. You're creating your businesses, you're creating your lives, you're creating your families, and then to take time out. I love you so much. Thank you. So let's jump in. If you're like, what the heck is Slay Gals? We started this last year because I had a friend that worked for the Los Angeles Garment District, and she works with seamstresses. And I'm not sure what they call the male seamstros. And she was telling me how awful their conditions are, right here in California, Los Angeles. And you're like, you think this happens in other countries, and that they're getting paid like $2 an hour. And something sparked in me. You know, when you get that ping, and I got the ping to put something together. And then Slay Gals was born. Salome and I were going back and forth. Let's create a cute little name. Let's make it fun. And how can we teach people? And that's when we were in the height of the pandemic. So I want to preface that this year looks very different. I was thinking, how can we make this more easeful for everybody, for the speakers, for my team? Because I feel like we're going back into that fast pace. At least I am. Anybody out there, party at 2. And so I'm like, how can we make this? Because not everybody's at home. Last year, everybody was at home. Like, yeah, let's sign up for a 3-hour workshop. So I'm like, let's go live. Let's turn it into a podcast. And now let's raise money all month long with my other gals out there. And this year, we're going to send it to the silent essential worker. And here's the cool thing. You all ready? I'm not sure who I'm going to give it to or who we're going to give it to. I'm going to get a ping that day. And what God Life Universe sends us to, I'm going to get some girlfriends. We're going to get in a car and we're just going to drive. And we're going to see where the car takes us. And so that's what I'm excited for. So if everybody's like, well, I don't know where my money's going to go, we're going to go live so you can see where your money's going to go. So this is the worker that works at a fast food restaurant. Tell me if you've all been to a fast food restaurant in the last year and a half of the pandemic. It has been crazy. They're working so hard. Now you have DoorDash, Uber Eats. I mean, all these places, Grubhub, and they have to work harder. And they're thinned out. There's not that many anymore. So we want to say thank you to the worker that's working at, a hotel, somebody that's working on Christmas Eve, during Hanukkah. It's like, we want to say thank you because they are the glue that hold this world together. And I noticed that they just don't get compensated as hard as they work. I'm like, I don't even know if I could do a day's work of working at Pollo Loco or McDonald's. That's really hard. So that's where the money's going to go. So thank you so much for showing up. We're going to be doing that all December. Let me introduce the beautiful, and look at our little outfits. I feel so J-Lo right now, right? And with my bun like Lesley. We have Lesley Logan. She is a Pilates master. She is owner and creator of onlinepilates.com. She's been on the Get Up Girl like a gazillion times. She and I love to have conversations. And today she's going to focus on, I want to get this right, prioritization of self. And she is also certified in that. So thank you, Lesley. And she's got party upstairs and, chill at the bottom. Who has Netflix chill on the bottom, right? As I ever see my toes. I'm going to show my toes. Here's my toes right there. You know I do it. Okay, and then we also have Pinky Sofia Magana, but she goes as, Pinky Sofia. She's going to be our money gal. She's our money expert today. Let me tell you, if you've been listening to the Get Up Girl, I'm going to shift more into money and body, like our body, everything about body and money. Let's talk about money, everybody, gals, everybody out there. Let's really talk about money, and let's make it and let's have fun. And what can we create when we have money? Ooh, we're going to do so much good. And then I got my gal sexy, if you're watching live here in the red and black, Jessica Bergio, gorgeous. All of us freaking gorgeous. Jessica's beauty expert, but today she's going to be talking about habits and non-negotiables and boundaries. That's what she's all about. And I thought this little, you know, four of us coming together, it's going to be phenomenal. So welcome, ladies. Thank you so much.
So excited to be here.
Yay! That was a long intro, so I should get an Oscar for that one. That was good.
You know what? I had an idea though while you were talking about who you're giving it to. I feel like you could order from different Postmates, like different things, and then when the people come, you could actually like give them some money from the thing. So like that way, it's like really random. It's like, who's the random person who like on DoorDash or on Postmates or whatever, because I definitely would have starved during this pandemic if those outlets hadn't existed. Like they're my Whole Foods delivery person, you know, like I was very living the privilege for sure. Cause you know, they're going into the places for us. So anyways, that's what came to my mind in case, you know, you can go live there.
Lesley, I love that. You know what? Because the people that do deliver, they're there. They'll deliver my breakfast at 8 a.m. And sometimes they have to park. Like I think about it, I'm like, that is not easy to go pick up that restaurant, and you have to park and walk, and then you might get a $2 tip. And I'm like, dang, like I just want to say thank you. That is a phenomenal idea. I love that. Okay, well, let's jump right in. Let's start with Jessica. Jessica, what's up in your world right now? What can we learn moving into 2022 so that we can level up, we can change, we can shift, and really listen to those non-negotiables and boundaries? Give us a word.
Girl, so you know, Joanne and I vibe. We're the 5 a.m. crew, and we live and breathe and eat by that time, and that is what works for us. And so I think, you know, during the pandemic, during the time where we didn't have to necessarily be anywhere at a specific time, a lot of us, I come from the beauty industry, we didn't have a job. We didn't have anywhere to be. And that was maybe for the first time in a really long time, people had no direction. And so coming off a year of chaos and no direction, you know, I always had habits instilled, and kind of what I just made up the term, you know, boundaries for myself and non-negotiables. Non-negotiables is kind of my hashtag that I use if you follow me on social media. And that kind of turned into just a non-negotiable way for me to show up for myself. You know, because at the end of the day, we do things because it's what we need. But a lot of times, if you're in the service industry, if you're a provider, if you're a mom, if you're a woman, let's be honest, like you're always giving, you're always doing, you're always proving. And I think that's where Joanne and I, you know, we connected on that level of like showing up early in the morning and carving out that time just for ourselves, because we know for all that we give to our people, our clients, our employees, our people that we mentor, our family, like we can't pour from an empty cup. You know, it's cliche. It's the same thing we talk about all the time, but it's true. And not to complicate things, because you got to make it simple. And when you simplify that time in the morning and you just choose 3 things that will really support you in the day, in that moment, like don't overthink it. Don't put those giant goals on yourself, those personal ones, right? If I'm going to lose 40 pounds or I'm going to go to the gym 8 days a week, it's just show up in the morning for yourself. What does that feel like? What does that look like? And really listening to yourself of what you need. So I have like a list of things that are there for me in the morning that, depending on how I feel, I get to choose from. So I don't force myself into any box and say, I only go to the gym, I only train, I only blah, blah, blah. It's no, what do I feel like this morning? And what does my day need? You know, how do I need to show up today? Is it calm? Is it peaceful? Do I do yoga? Do I go for a walk without any music so I can think? Or is it a hype day where I got to show up? I got to bring some energy. I want to talk with my girls. Like I get on the Peloton, I raise my vibration so I can show up for the energy that is needed for me for that day. And, you know, when I was younger, I didn't really understand how to do that for myself. And, you know, now being 40, being a mom of a 10-year-old, I'm a single mom, I run a business. I give a lot every day. And, you know, when you find yourself at the end of the day, frustrated, stressed out, easily, you know, agitated, you kind of have to look back. Did I do the things this morning that were going to set me up to win today? Because when you do that for yourself, you know, you generally can have, you know, an ease and flow about your day that just it feels so much better. And when I sleep really well, I think, I did the things that supported me. I worked out, I moved my body, I checked things off my list, I feel good. It's easier to sleep. So, you know, that's kind of where the habits, non-negotiables kind of came from. And Joanna, you know, we used to do our morning talks where we would text each other at 5 a.m. And like any friend of mine knows if they got anything they need to talk about before 6 a.m., I'm who you can text. So, but I get pushback from people that are like, well, why do you wake up at 5? I'm like, because I have to. Like, that's the only time I can carve out hour or two for myself. Not everybody has to do that, but, give yourself that early morning time. If you're a late night person, give yourself the evening ritual. And that was something Joanna and I remember we talked about. We didn't really have an evening ritual to kind of bring down the day. And so implementing that in my life has really helped too. But that's also become like a boundary, because if I need to wind down that night for the next day to set myself up to win, I can't go out with the girls last night for dinner. I didn't want to stay up and drink all night. I woke up this morning to go to 8 a.m. baseball game for my son. And I thought to myself, I'm so glad I feel good this morning.
Yes.
But I had to pre-think that through and set myself up to win. Old me would have been like, YOLO, and I would have paid for it the whole weekend. And Monday I probably would have been groggy and, so.
Yeah. Jessica, I love that you brought that up with the 5 a.m. carving out time for yourself, married with the non-negotiable.
Yeah.
This true story, everybody. I mean, a little side note. A couple days ago was my anniversary. Went out with my boyfriend, go to a hotel, and I feel off. I have to still remind him, sweetheart, I need my 2 hours in the morning, even if we're at a hotel, even if we're at vacation. And you'll notice that our non-negotiables, they'll slip, or they can tend to slip when we're on quote unquote vacation, when it's a Sunday, when it's a fill in the XYZ. And I know my body, even though it's vacation, in this reality, we buy that, well, it's vacation, let's sleep in. But I'm going to be off. Like you said, Jessica, I'm going to be off. I'm going to be like, like I'm walking off kilter. And I'm like, just please know, sweetheart, that I'm going to go down into the lobby. I'm going to wake up at 5 and I just need my 2 hours. It's not personal. I just really, that is required for me. Now, gals, anybody else out there, but I'm a pretty strong person. And that was still even tough because I want to give to him and I want to, he's so sweet and he did this for me. So now I should do this for him. Yep. Do you know what I mean? And so I do want to throw that out. What do you think about that?
I think you and I are in newer relationships, and that's one of those things where, I think anybody, not just women, can get lost in the newness of things, the fun, the same with going out, with your girlfriends. But the newness of a relationship and finding someone that you do want to connect and spend that time with. Like I even say things like, I've waited 20 years to want to hang out with somebody like this. So I find myself when we take trips too, the same thing happens and he can tell. And so now he's like, coffee's ready. Go do your thing. Here's the Peloton. Like we got one at each other's house so I can get my workout in. Like it's really been good for me to grow and stay grounded in what works for me, because even he's like, day 4, you're off. Like he can tell because my energy is different because I'm not able to do the things that support me. And so it's hard sometimes because some of you could be in jobs, even maybe it's not relationships that are pulling from you, that are asking you to do more. I know a lot of people, it's busy season right now in the beauty industry. And so we're stretching ourselves. We're going in a little bit earlier. We're letting people talk us into staying later. And so you're taking away from the time that you could be carving out for yourself. And so that was really kind of one of the things I wanted to touch on today was the non-negotiables are things, that we make in a in a place where we're not emotionally charged. You want to set those boundaries up when you're in a space clear-headed of what is it that I need versus, okay, shit, I said yes to this and this. This is why I'm upset. This is why the day's going off, and just deal with it, own it. But not going to do that again because it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. And that's, I think, what for me in my industry, the pandemic really gave our industry that ability to say, hey, listen, I was grinding like that for 18, 19 years. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I wasn't the only one. And through coaching in the industry, I realized so many people, that was the thing. And so when we opened back up, a lot of people went right back to the way they were doing things and realized that that wasn't going to be good for them.
Oh my gosh. So there, because I could feel like I went right back in. I'm like, Joanna, what did you take away from this 1.5 years? Right? Pinky, Lesley, what do you think about what we were talking about? Because I'm aware that as a female, and I see my girlfriends, do you think we clickbait people in and then we get resentful and then we blow up? At least that's what I've done. And I've seen some of my girlfriends do that. What do you think?
Well, resentment is when you don't uphold your own boundary. Yeah. That's what resentment is. Like, it's not their fault. You didn't uphold your own boundary. That's why you're resentful. And so I think that when you have that, that's actually like, if you're really unaware, because like I agree with Jessica, you have to like figure out those non-negotiables when you're like in an easeful state. But if you're like in it right now and you can't see ease until Christmas Day, then I would just start making like notes of like, oh, I'm resentful of this, I'm resentful of this, I'm resentful of this, and use those to kind of help you make decisions for the rest of the month until you can get to that space.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pinky.
For me, I'm having just a lot of aha moments. This is so inspiring because I'm not an early riser. And I do find myself even just resenting myself, getting angry because now I'm rushing to things and I don't give myself any morning time. So I try to do it after my son goes to sleep. And I get frustrated because by that time I want to go to sleep. I'm like, so I stay up later, and it's just been a vicious cycle of just doing that over and over again. And I'm seeing a lot of. I have another friend that's been waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it just looks so delightful. It looks amazing because she's like, this is the time where nobody's awake. I have my own time. So this is speaking. I feel that it's speaking to me like, okay, you need to have that 2 hours that you guys are saying in the morning. And I think it would make a world of difference in my life for sure.
Oh,
Definitely.
Pinky. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I know my life changed when I did this 15 years ago. I just started teaching at this new studio, fitness, loving it. And they gave me 2 days of 6:15 classes and then like 3 to 4 classes right after, right? So it's really honoring my body so I don't push it. So 6:15, I got to get there 5:45. So I wake up at 4 a.m. Now, I'm aware that in the past, or most of us would wake up at just enough, 5:25, and then like throw on your outfit and then run, right? And I'm like, Joanna, 4 a.m. because I require to set me up before I can give, like Jessica said, I cannot gift anything. Those are going to be crappy classes. And then but 4 a.m., you're crazy, right? And I'm like, I'm crazy not to do it, but I require first. And the classes are so much better. Yeah. Thank you, Jessica, for that. I really appreciate it. Let's go. I want to talk about money time.
Me too. Let's hear it.
Yes. Gosh. And Pinky is going to be talking about your financial independence number. Okay. Your FIN. If you're like, what the heck is this? Know it. Be its best friend. Like, you want to know it. Imagine if we're walking down the street, Pinky, and you're like, what's your FIN? People are like, what's a FIN? What's your financial independence number? What the heck is that? It's like asking somebody, where's Texas? And they can't point it on a map. You're like, that's like what? But then a FIN, you're like, well, I don't know what that is. Let's educate people on what your FIN is. Take it away, Pinky.
So that the FIN number is the most important number of your life. Like, we have our checking and routing numbers memorized, our driver's license memorized, our social security number memorized, but we don't know our financial independence number. And this is something that I never learned. This is something I wish I would have learned. It's why I'm so passionate about, because I wish somebody would have taught my parents. My parents are 68 years old. For them to reach their financial independence number, it's kind of too late. So this is why it's so important. So I'm literally going to just scratch the surface of your financial independence number. It goes deeper than this. I'm going to pull up my board. There's 3 steps. It's a simple mathematical equation. I failed college math 3 times. So you don't have to be a mathematician to do this. And guess what? That college algebra, and they never had the equation for me to be able to reach my financial independence numbers. So
hey, everybody, grab your notebooks. If you're driving, listen to this.
If you have pull out your calculator, your cell phone, and type in the chat if you've ever heard of your FIN number, or if you've never have. And if you have, where did you hear it from? Because I really want to just kind of get the feedback. So
I never heard it before you, Pinky. I learned it 2 years ago. I never heard it.
I'm like, what? FIN? What is a FIN? So I'm going to have you guys screenshot this, okay? And then we're going to go through this together. So let's see. Is that?
A little higher.
Oh, yeah.
There,
So you
right
can see the
there.
bottom green. Yeah.
Screenshot, screenshot, screenshot. Okay, perfect. So your financial independence number, that's really just the money bag that you're going to want to have when you retire. And
Mm.
now it used to be a retirement age. Now it's really a retirement number.
Oh my, Pinky, say that one more time, girl.
It used to be in a retirement age. Now it's a retirement number. I see
So good.
70, 75-year-olds still working because they didn't have this set up for themselves. So the first thing that you're going to do, I'm going to pull out my calculator with you. So your financial independence number, this is literally just going to be the basic to cover your basics with your current income today, with your current lifestyle today. Once we figure out your financial independence number, if you're thinking, no, but I'm going to double, triple my income, we'll double, triple that financial independence number once we get that calculated. So we're going to take, it's going to be really simple. Let's just say basic. I want $5,000 coming into my household every month without me having to work. Let's say I want to retire at age 65. So you're going to take $5,000 or whatever number that you have, your income or whatever you want coming in after retirement. So let's do $5,000. If you have 10,000, then put 10,000. And then you're going to multiply that by 12. That equals $60,000. So now you have your $60,000, right? Okay, so now you're going to take your $60,000, so your yearly income, whatever you got, and you're going to multiply that. Sorry. You're going to actually divide that by 0.04%. And tell me in the chat if that number shocked you. If you expected that number. A lot of people, if they take a wild guess, they don't know. So $5,000, if I want $5,000 coming into my household every month without having to work, I need 1.5 million in an account saved by the time I reach 65, let's say. The reason we divided it by 0.06, it's a rule of thumb. That's the safe amount that you can pull out every year without running out of money. Because if you have 1.5 million, you're 65, you're like, ooh, I'm going to pull out 500,000 this year and just, spend. No. So that's just the rule of thumb. It's the safe 0.06 to show you divide that. So that's your financial independence number.
Pinky,
And
I'm
now
going to jump in. Wait, you said 0.04 the first time. Is it 0.04?
Oh,
or
0.04. Sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
0.04.
Now, is that because of interest?
Yeah, it's because of interest, keeping up with inflation.
Okay.
And all of that, which we know this year right now it's up 6.2%. So and people have different, like 4 is too low or 6 is too high. So it really depends, but that's just the average. You can divide it by 4, you can divide it by 6. That's your average. So that's your financial independence number. So now this is literally the beginning of your money roadmap. Now you have your financial independence number. And now you're thinking, okay, Pinky, how the heck am I going to get to that 1.5 million? That's the second step. It depends on your age. It depends on your health. Let's say that I'm 30 years old and I'm going to retire at 65. I have 35 years to reach that financial independence number. But if you're 40 and you're going to retire at 65, now I have 25 years. So it makes a huge difference. And that next step, you can reach out to me. We can do a quick call. Well, I'll give you literally the exact number down to the penny of how much you have to put away every month so you can reach that number. And
Pinky,
this information, whoever's here we'll give that to you.
If you're younger, somebody listening is 25, would they need more money? Because by the time they're 65, 70, that 1 point whatever million is not going to be the same.
Well, yeah, they'll need more. Exactly. So that's why the one that I calculated right now is just covering the basics. And you're right. 1.5 million is going to
be like 100 grand in 20 to 30 years. It's going to be like nothing. $1 million. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Leslie's laughing. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to need like 3 million, 10 million. People don't realize how much you actually need. It's pretty crazy. But the younger you are, the easier it's going to get. Somebody that's 20 years old can put in a couple $100 and have that money grow for them, as opposed to somebody like myself. I'm 40 years old. Now I'm putting a couple of grand in to reach that financial independence number.
A couple of grand a month. Want to be clear on that. Yeah, not a year. Okay. So somebody with children, gosh, I think this is perfect. Start them right when they're born, right? But let's just say, like Jessica, she has a 10-year-old, somebody has a 5-year-old, a 12-year-old, an 18-year-old. They start them now on their own account. How much average can they put? $25 a month? Or would you $50 a month so that they can have their financial independence number by the time they're 25 or something of that nature?
So by the time, so my son, I started my son at 1. I'm doing $100 a month. If I left it alone and just kept doing $100 a month, he'll have enough money to, let's say, buy a house, get married, whatnot. But if he leaves it alone, does nothing, by the time he's 65, he'll have $1 million. So he can start pulling out 75 grand a year to live off of. But again, by the time he's 65, that 75 grand is not going to be enough.
Okay, question, Pinky. Do you know if it's 100 times 12 times how many years? How much money are you putting in order to create the million?
I would have to calculate that, but you're also, the compound interest is where the magic happens.
Yeah.
And that's another, that's a whole other, part of what basic concepts of making sure that you're keeping up with inflation. If you're putting $100 into your savings account is giving you 0.01% or 0.05%. If you're putting it in a 401k, that's 4%. It's not, you're barely catching up. So you really have to find accounts where you're making your money double as fast as possible. So the more years that we have, the more chances it's going to take for it to double.
Okay, inflation. You said inflation was normally 4% last year, or just this year it's 0.62%.
6.2% this year.
6.2. Got it. Now, are you noticing, are you learning that inflation is also increasing? Like in 10 years is going to be 0.8 or 8.2?
It's definitely increasing. It's not going to go down. When people think, oh, I'll pay taxes later. That's a whole other subject. I'll pay taxes later, when you don't know what the tax bracket, what tax bracket you're going to be in and how much they're going to tax you, you don't know. So it's like a surprise. No, I'd rather pay the taxes right now because I know what the taxes are right now and not pay taxes on it later. So that's it. And that's the scary part, is not how much you have or make, is the taxes. That's when they're going to get you.
Well, and I'm looking at the four of us thinking we're all independent, financially independent coaches, trainers, teachers, business owners. And I'll tell you, for the first 10 years, I did not pay attention to the tax portion of my business. And that ate me alive every year. About this time when I would add up the numbers and go in to do my taxes in January, it was just so stressful. And so getting a really good tax person, CPA, someone to teach you about money, like, you do for people, because I know that you're a money coach, like getting that information now, if it's anything that overwhelms you, scares you, or makes you want to push it to the back burner, like you cannot sit on that, because your money, the more that you respect it, the more that you will have. And so when you suck that money away for taxes, it is what it is. You got to pay your share. And so that account that sits there, and every month I've already pre-calculated what my estimate for the year is going to be in my business. And your tax person can help you do that, obviously, right? So I watch that account grow. And it creates so much like light in when I look at the bank, I'm like, yay, look at all that money for the tax. Like I feel nothing when I send that check off, but pride that it's done, So if you guys do run independent businesses, or you have anything like a side hustle where there's things you need to pay taxes on, like set 30-40% out of everything that comes into that account, just have it automatically transfer. So it was never in the account that you spend for your hard numbers.
Yeah. And within the last year, we've had so many new businesses start, so many side hustles.
Yeah.
And they're all green, they're all new. And I don't think they're going to have a big lesson, right? Because then they might be doing a lot of Venmo. Anybody listening, if you're doing Venmo or things like that, it's going to catch up to you. And then
even GoFundMe.
Not fun. Yeah. Oh, that too.
GoFundMe, people, and it's worse because usually GoFundMe is actually like the number one in fundraising for funerals, which is sad. And people don't realize when they're raising for funerals or for a tragic accident that happened, people are raising money for people. They don't, and they get $100,000. They spend it $100,000. They don't realize that IRS is going to come after you for taxes.
Everybody listening, Pinky, yes, I've had the IRS come into my business accounts twice. All of a sudden, down to zero. It is not fun. It will catch up to you. Remember that movie with Will Smith, Pursuit of Happiness? And if anybody remembers, and he's on the phone and the IRS takes his money. And it's like, until you see that, it sucks. It really sucks. Because you think, well, I'll take care of it next month. I'm going to get the whatever. And then they will go into your account. And you're like, how did that happen? Like, how do you find it? Zero. It's freaking scary. Lesley, do you have a question for Pinky? Any money question?
No, I just love that we're talking about it because I'm a fitness business coach, and one of the things I really try to work on with people is like I help them create their rates based on how much money they want to make in the year gross, right? It's based on gross, and also it includes their vacation and sick days, right? Because like they always complain, oh, if I get sick, I lost this money. If I go on vacation, I work extra. And it's like, no, if you actually do it the way I tell you to do it, you're going to do it like this. And you want to do it for the gross number because you have to pay taxes. And I think that like Jessica said it, like taxes are good. If you have to pay taxes, it means your business profited. If your business isn't profiting, it's called a jobby. And like, I don't know, but I'd rather have a hobby. I don't want to hustle for my hobby. Like, yeah, I don't want to work that hard to like play with puzzles. So like, I just think I think it's a really great thing. And I think the more women talk about money and saving and making it like one of the things that is on my goals for next year to learn is that I actually want to be investing in women-founded businesses, which means I need to have extra money. Why? Because I saw my number, and unless I'm selling my company for $300 million, I got some money to make. So I want to actually take the extra money that I have that's not going into our retirement account and put it into businesses that can grow for me. But I have to learn how to do that. I have to learn how to invest, right? And like, who's teaching that? I learned that in college. So I'm just grateful for you. That was really fun.
Thank you. Yeah.
I just had like a little aha as Lesley was talking when she said she brought up her FIN number. I'm like, I got to put my FIN number up the way I put my manifestations and what I want to create in my life. So in my bedroom, I have, we all have these Post-its and things like that to remind ourselves. What about the FIN number? Have it up so you know it. Like you said, boom. Yes, to pull you through. We do have a question here on the chat. So Pinky, here we go. This is from Patrick. We got, should that monthly number be what you're currently bringing in now while working? Or would it be the monthly be less when you retire per month? Huh. Okay. To combine one more. To combine the past two conversations, are there non-negotiables with money? So that's another conversation. But Pinky, did that first question? Did you understand that one?
Yeah. So it's going to depend. If you're making $5,000 a month right now, and you're okay with your lifestyle, with what it covers, and you're not pinching, you take vacations with that $5,000 a month. It depends. So if some people are making $5,000 and it's barely enough, it's going to be barely enough for you in retirement. Mm-hmm. So that's why I said, if you're doing $5,000, if I have $5,000 coming in, my fin is 1.5, but I'm like, no, I want 10,000. So I have space to do vacations and gifts and my kid and do all of that. So that's why there's different numbers. This is literally just to cover your basics. But if you have, and everybody's lifestyle is different. Do you want to live on the beach or do you want to live humbly on a farm? It really depends on what your lifestyle is going to be. So if you like your current lifestyle, you get your lattes, every day, and that's enough for you, then that's your financial independence number. But then there's the financial freedom number. That's where.
That's level 2. That's the next conversation.
Next level.
Yeah. SLEIGH Gals part 2. Pinky, that was so, as you're talking, my brain, if you saw me, because I've seen people retire and there can be both sides. So I've seen family retire and they're like traveling and they're doing all these things and they're giving money to family members and things like that. Or you have people retire and they did well, but then when they retired, they changed their lifestyle.
Yes.
So, okay, good to know. Got it. All right. And the next time we'll talk about financial freedom number. FFN, is that what that is?
Yeah. Financial freedom. Yeah. FFN. There you go.
Love it. Thank you, Pinky. I appreciate it. We'll be talking about money more often. Okay. We'll go back to that second question on the non-negotiables with money because that's good. Lesley. All right. Lesley is going to be talking. I want to get this prioritization of self. Dang, that's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
I think all these three go together because with that, Lesley, I know that when we do that and our non-negotiables and money, the compound interest of what we receive. So we're talking about compound interest with money, but the compound interest of ourselves, because gals, I mean, and we're, of the same era, but I'm in my mid 40s and people are amazed that I'm doing what I do in my mid 40s. Like in their brain, they're thinking, you're still doing fitness at 40. You're able to do this, like this fitness move at 40.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I know, ladies. It's the compound interest of what I've been doing.
Yeah.
So this is my body independence number, Pinky. We'll call it that.
Yeah,
So I
love that.
right? It's the interest is compounding, but a lot of
been.
I see like, oh, now I have to work out in order to reverse. So Pinky, like you said, I have to make money now to reverse. So with that being said, Lesley, let's talk about prioritizing ourselves.
Yeah.
I love that. Take it away, girl.
Yeah, so I love everything that's been said, and so Jessica's non-negotiables, and she has her habits. She has at 5 a.m., and so I am a mindset and habits coach, and also a Pilates instructor. And what I found is like Pilates started out as like a thing I did to get in shape and feel good, but it actually became the way that like I filled my cup first. Right? Like I got on my mat and I did my practice because that's what actually filled me up. Same as like a walk would be or something like that. And what I have discovered in the 15 years that I've been teaching and the years of coaching is that if you don't prioritize your needs first, you actually cannot show up the way that you want to for others because, like just the visual of filling your cup first. If you had a full bottle of water and someone said, can I have some? You're like, yeah, no problem. But if you go to work with a half-filled bottle of water and someone's like, can I have some water? You're like, you can have like a sip,
Yeah.
right? We hold back. We don't give it up. So, and what I think is, because I understand, like, I don't have children. I have 3 dogs that I've given toys to so that they're quiet for this dog. But like, so I don't have kids, but I can say as a daughter of parents who did not prioritize themselves first, who felt that they had to do things for us first and then for themselves later, is actually what I remember is them being stressed out, being frustrated, them being easily angered, them fighting, like they were exhausted. Like when I had summers off, my mom was taking a nap at the pool. So I had an adult at the pool, but they weren't watching me at the pool, right? And it's not because she's a bad mom. It's because she's fucking tired. She's tired. So like the reality is that I can't show up for all of my members. I can't show up for the things that I want to do. I can't show up for my husband. I can't even like hang out with the dogs and play with them if I don't do something for me first. So for me, that is my Pilates practice. I am part of the 5 a.m. club, except for don't text me. I won't respond until after 7 because my phone is on do not disturb. That is my way of filling my cup is like, I'm an introvert though. So I'm high functioning. So I like to be by myself at my 5 a.m. run. I don't want to, when the neighbor's like, good morning, I'm like, oh, good morning, hello. Because that's my time. And what I have found is when people ask, how do you do it all? Well, first of all, I do most of it scared. I'm just taking a lot of messy action. But really, it's because I literally make sure that I am doing what I need to do each and every day to show up on this planet. And then I can give. I can keep giving. And I can tell when I am resentful or sad or easily exhausted. It's because, I skipped my morning time this morning. I skipped my Pilates practice. I negotiated with myself, I'll do it later. Whenever we do that, we never do it later, or we resent that we're doing it later. And we are not actually, so what you can do, what I do is like, let's say you wake up late and you don't have your time to prioritize yourself. You can do shortened versions of it. So for me, instead of doing the full 2-mile walk that I do with my dog, I'll walk him around the block. Sound off on my headphones, like just get the sunshine, maximize the time by myself. I'll do 5 minutes of Pilates if that's all I have. I do some a little bit instead of like freaking out. Oh my God, I woke up late. Oh my God, I can't believe I did this to myself. All that is shame. All of that is actually draining your cup even faster. Give yourself 5 minutes to take, maybe do breath work, something, have a list, like Jessica said, she has a list of things. Have a list of things you could do in 5 minutes that would make you feel really good. And that way, no matter how little time you have or how much time you have filled your cup. And here's what's really cool about prioritizing yourself first. You have way more energy to do things, which means things get done faster, which means the emails and the work project you have to do or the cleaning of the house, it happens faster when you have energy. So that's really cool. And then one other thing I want to talk about with that is this. Our brains are conditioned to do things that make us feel good, right? That's why people get stuck on playing a game, because there's like little hits of dopamine that make them feel good, right? So, or you enjoy this candy, it makes you feel good. Your brain is conditioned to do things that make you feel good. It just wants to run away from anything that makes you feel bad. So if you're shaming yourself, if you're mad at yourself for not doing the things you want to be doing, guess what your brain's not going to do? Make time or bring that to your front. Oh, don't forget you want to do this thing. It's not going to. So if you're like, I want to get up at 5 a.m., right? You're going to start. Pinky's going to start that tomorrow. If she wakes you up at 5:30 tomorrow, she's like, oh, God, I didn't do that. Her brain's not going to be like, that night, hey, don't forget you want to make it 5 a.m. It's like, oh, wake up at 5 a.m. makes me feel bad. So it's just not going to even remember it, right? But if instead she goes, I'm so proud of myself for remembering I wanted to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm so proud. I remember I want to wake up at 5 a.m. And like just have a positive thought around that and not a negative one. Guess what? Her brain is going to be like, oh, 5 a.m. Don't forget I want to make up at 5 a.m. And so you have to celebrate the thought of the thing you want to be doing more. So if you want to prioritize yourself more, you have to think happy thoughts when you think about something about that. Even if you didn't do it, even if the whole day you didn't do one thing, but you remembered you wanted to, oh, look at me, I'm so amazing. Whatever helps you feel like shine is what BJ Fogg would call it. He has he's author of Tiny Habits, and he's the one that the James Clear Atomic Habits guy studied from. He's the guy that Instagram founder studied from. You think that wasn't done to make you have a habit. So that is all different things you can do. And I promise you want to have your FIN number, you want to have non-negotiables, you want to manifest something. I know Jonah and I like talking about manifestation. You have to have energy. You have to be really clear on like what makes you first in your life so that you can be there for all the things that you find as a priority. If your family is a priority, you cannot be there for them if you're not there for yourself first.
Oh, Lesley, my favorite thing that you said was about, if you can't do the whole 2 hours, just do a little bit because we want to feel good. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about putting money aside. If I even, just the thought when I transfer transfer $5, because I have this thing where I transfer 10% of whatever comes in. So if I get $10, I will transfer $1. But it's just that little dopamine hit of going, oh, I feel good. It's that check mark.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit that one.
Look at my FIN number, like having positive things. Jessica and I were in a thing together with that girl on money. And she was definitely another level for me on money. But what she said is every time you have to pay a bill, you should be like, look what I get to do. Yes. Look what I get to pay right now. Yeah. Like she was really big on that. And so now our household, like taxes are like celebrate. I'm like, oh, Chad's calling? What's Chad? Chad, what's the number today? How much you want? Like, yes. It's not easy. It's not easy. I also am like burning. This is like abundance. I've been burning it every day for the Black Friday sale. Yeah. Like abundance. Well, and you have to have good thoughts around those things. What do you say, Jessica?
Definitely have to have good thoughts around those. And that's why I stay close to people who talk about their money and they talk about what they make. And I feel like I grew up in an era where that wasn't what you did. You didn't brag, you didn't share. I remember my mom owns a business. She's had it for, 35 plus years. I remember my mom was at a point where she could buy herself a really nice car, and she came home and she had bought like the moderate base level nice car. And I said, that's what you got? And it was a nice little Mercedes. It was gorgeous. It was nicer than what she had when she went in. But I know she could have bought herself a nicer car. And she literally said to me, I don't want to make the people that work for me in the office feel bad. And I don't want the people that buy from me to think that I spend all their money on my car. And I thought, that is some fucked up shit. Like, she came from the era of let me stay in the small pond so I stay a big fish. Let me put my little small fish in a big ass pond to see what everybody else is doing. It's like this glass ceiling that we put on ourselves with time, with what we can accomplish in a day, with the money, with all the things.
Well, she's from that. She just literally didn't prioritize herself first, right?
No.
Because she thought of all these other people. And like Hazel Ortega, who is Joanna's friend who I met, she said, you can't even be a big fish in a small pond. Like, fish can't grow big in a small pond. You can only grow the size of the pond that you're in. And so, like, you know, it's just really, I think it's, I love that. My husband and I, you know, I definitely felt that we moved into this big house during the pandemic, and that the optics of that felt a little odd. So I did find myself explaining to people, I was like, well, my expenses are literally the same. You know, I was like, look, like in LA, my apartment costs the same as my house. Like I was like, why am I doing that? But it was because, like, just at the time, it just felt a little, but it was also how I was raised. I was raised like, oh, you know, like, don't offend any, like, don't brag, because if you brag, it makes people feel bad. But honestly, it can inspire people. Like, it inspired people around me to move and make changes in their lives. So I actually started talking about it.
Right. And prioritizing your money too, like you talked about, Joanna, like the money that gets automatically deducted every Monday out of my account, it's the same flat number because I've guesstimated what I've done the same job for 20 years and I know what I'm going to raise my rates to. So I know generally what I'm going to make. And, you know, I call my tax girl when I see that amount in there and I'm like, yo, go pay the bill. Like, I get it. Like Chad, like, right. She's Rachel. I'm like, Rachel, time to pay the bill. And it's like, there's so much like pride that I have that I've checked that huge box off. And every Monday when the money comes out, like, and I did that even through the pandemic when I wasn't making any money, I still allowed for that money to come out every Monday. And at the end of the year, Rachel gifted me like 10 grand. And I was like, yo, so it's like you never know how you can set yourself up to win if you just stay. I think the majority of what we're saying is consistency, showing up for yourself, doing the things that make you feel good. We're all different. Like, you guys know what you need from yourself. And if you don't, that's where you got to go and really, you know, start asking yourself better, deeper questions of what is it and how can I support myself? Is it financially being, you know, smarter about what I got going on? Is it the time? Is it the movement? What is it?
Yeah. Well, I also think, like, so many people have fear. They feel like they have a lack of confidence. They can look at all of us and go, these women seem so confident. And I think that the through line of where I think most of us are probably big guessing game all the time. It's like, okay, I think this is going to work. I'm going to go for it. Right. But the confidence that we do have in ourselves is because we've kept commitments to ourselves, right? And your confidence grows. Like for Pinky, she's been putting that money away every month. She's very confident that she can make that money because she's going to have that money because she was so consistent in doing that. For you, it's like, you know, right? You've had these boundaries, these non-negotiables, Jessica, like you've all this stuff. You have this confidence in you because, like, you've kept those commitments to yourself. And Joanna didn't just sleep in until 5:25 before she went there. She is like, she committed to herself to get up, and she didn't break that commitment. And so she has confidence in herself to show up for herself. And I think, like, a lot of people, because they don't keep their boundaries for themselves, they don't keep their commitments to themselves, that's why they have lack of confidence, because they can't rely on themselves. So if you work on those prioritizing yourself, you're going to have that. Anyways, agree.
Pinky, that was real cool. You know what really stood out to me is that I hear all the time, Joanna, you have so much energy. Like, you're just like a little bouncing bean. And I'm an introvert, but I'm an extroverted introvert. But I love when I teach, I'm like literally putting on a show. I'm having fun. And it hit me, Lesley. I have so much energy and I don't burn out as I did in the past, but not anymore, because I prioritize myself, because I gave myself 2 hours. It totally hit me. Like, I didn't really get it. It didn't connect. And like, that's why I have energy. I thought I was different. I thought like God gave me something with that. And I don't buy that have more energy than others. We all have it. It's just, we're not prioritizing. You're so right. Because when clients come in and they're so drained and they believe that it has to be all pain, no gain, or what is it? No pain, no gain, in order to train. And it has to be like and everything. And that's why we give up. Oh man, that's so good. Okay, well, we got a question. Let's see a little chat. Going back to the money question. Okay, Brianna, this girl Brianna wants to know if money is better spent paying off student loans or putting it towards a 401k. Dang, that's a good question.
Both. You're gonna do it simultaneously, because and again, this goes back to being like the doctor, like, okay, I need to take a look at your details and things like that. So I can't give out just a flat out answer. Everybody's different. I need to see where you're at, where your 401k is at, where your student loans are at. But when people talk about credit card debt, or, do both at the same time, because if something happens to you, your credit card company is not going to come out and help you. So you can be the best, bill payer in the world. They're not going to be able to help you. So you definitely need, and that's one non-negotiable, is paying yourself first. Mm-hmm. We're the best at paying everybody else first, but paying yourself first. And it's a concept that I didn't understand, because I would get my paycheck and I'm like, what do you mean I paid myself first? I cashed my check and then I'm like paying the bills. But I'm like, I didn't realize, no, I'm not even paying myself anything. I'm paying all my bills and everything. So it would be simultaneously, but that's something that we would, take a look at. How big is your student loans? There's different strategies and different programs that you can do to help with your student loans, and simultaneously, invest in your retirement accounts.
That was a great question, because it could be either one. Credit card, it could be something else. Yeah.
Also, those student loans are, you can lose a limb and you still owe those things. Like, you can file bankruptcy and you still owe those things. Like student loans, that's what I was told. I had to go to class. These don't go away until you're dead or you pay them off. So like, I would just say, even if you had only could put $10 away into that 401k, put it away. And like, my husband's still paying off his. We still have to work on that. I got to pay off mine early because I got to take advantage of low interest rates. But man, you can't. Those will still be there when you're retired on that money if you didn't pay them off.
Wow. Yep. Ooh. Yep. Okay.
And people are like, oh, let me pay my credit cards first. And that, whatever interest rate you're getting charged on that, will move your money so you can have this money also working at the same time. Because it goes both ways, because you have compound interest working for the credit cards or student loans, but you don't have the compound interest working for yourself.
Goes back to paying yourself first. This is the one I've been dancing with. And it's a learned muscle, is tithing to the church of me. I pay myself first, because we are, or a lot of us learn, tithe to a church, tithe to others, right? And what if we paid ourselves first? And it goes to what Lesley was talking about, prioritizing ourselves. And with money, Pinky, like you said, what does paying yourself first mean? I've been really working on that and putting it into things, for example, that you're not going to spend it. This is not to spend. This is to pay you. It could be in gold. It could be in jewels. It could be in, maybe you buy fine china, like something that is worth money that is not going to decrease. Not going to decrease. And that that I have this gold here and this is 10% and this is mine and I'm going to have this and it's mine. And so I've been working on that because I've been working and studying with people that they wear their 10%. For example, they'll have pearls. They have like a really nice ring. They'll have maybe like gold earrings. And they're like, I always know that I am money. I am wearing money. I just thought that was cool. Because like right now I have these little fake earrings. Oh, that just broke. Oh my gosh. Right? Worth nothing. Just fell off. But knowing that, gals, when you have money in your purse and you just feel good when you have cash in your purse, don't you all feel good?
So have you read The Last Black Unicorn?
No. What is it? Say it again.
Tiffany Haddish's book.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. She
so
talks
good.
about Jada Pinkett Smith was like, you need to have X amount of money in your purse all the time. So, and Tiffany's like, I don't even have the money to buy the purse you just gave me. Like, I don't have that. But, like, it's true. And I had a podcast guest who like struggled with money mindset. And so she wanted to believe that money was always around her. So she put two $100 bills. She put it on like this place where she always sits to work. And she has an amethyst stone around it and something else. And so she sits down to work. There's like money right there, just sitting there, right? And so one of my clients heard the podcast and she's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So she's like, how much money should I put? She's like, I'm going to put the amount of money that a new client is. And so then she put that money. She's like, I don't even know if I have crystals. And she had like a beaded bracelet that she put with it. Like another token. Anyway, she got 4 new clients in 5 weeks. Right? Because it's a symbol. And so what you're saying is like, I got my emerald, right? I wear this every day. Why? Because I'm a queen. I'm wearing my emerald. But like, it's like to remind you like that you have like that you there's something with you that is financially rich and that you are rich and we have to believe that, because if we go around, we make much different decisions about investing in others, investing in ourselves. I like that idea of tithe into the church of me. I might change how I actually have a paycheck now that I moved to Nevada, y'all, because we're trying to buy a house. So I actually get a paycheck. I'm on payroll. I think I was on payroll in California as well because of my S corp, but like California taxes, woo, I didn't make that much. So I have a paycheck now. And so I go in my bank account, like, oh, there's money. It's so fun. And so I think I'm going to change where that money goes. Don't worry, Pinky, I have savings. I got a retirement fund going. But like my actual spending money, I might change it to a church of me for like investing in something else.
Yes. Oh, I'm like, I have so many ahas because I'm going to get that cash and put it when I work. I freaking love that because I have everything else. I have all my little sayings and all my little things, but actual cash right there because I have my cash in my wallet. I love having cash in my wallet. I love it. Like that's my thing. And another thing, side note, if anybody out there, 2 more things. You can sleep with money under your purse, under your pillow. That's fun. Or make love on money. I haven't done that yet, but that sounds really fun. I've heard of people doing that. But we're taught that money is dirty and ugly. Right?
That's all I'm thinking. I'm like,
yes, like let's go. Let's cash this and just roll in 100s. I dare you all.
Like a circle, like a seance circle. We can stay in the circle, but I don't know if I want to be on it.
On it. Give me new bills. I want new, clean bills. Right? Just yesterday, I was teaching a fitness class and I was joking around and having fun. And I was like, dang, your teacher's good. I go, I take tips. You can all, and I opened up my like yoga pants. I'm like, you could put in some money, like a little stripper, and you could feel people, they got nervous. And I'm like, it's just money. I'm joking, like chill out. But you could see how we have these points of views about money. It's like, oh my, she's really wants money. I'm like, everybody, hey, if you want to give me $20, I'll take it. But do you see like even little things like that? We have so many like just hangups around it.
And even that, them feeling uncomfortable with like, oh, I'm going to have to tip her. That they don't realize that you're repelling money by doing that. Like you're, hold on. And so you're not going to get more money.
Yeah.
With, it's, yeah.
Pinky, you're so right. Those are our soldiers. Those are our best friends. And I've said this to Pinky, but I'm going to bring it up again. Okay, money. Let's just take money or anything else. Your non-negotiables. You're prioritizing yourself. Let's make it a thing, a person. Okay? Let's pretend non-negotiables was a person. Money was a person. And if you went to couples counseling with your non-negotiables, what would they say? Would they say, oh, Joanna loves me so much. We don't even need counseling. We're amazing. Or would the non-negotiables say, she ignores me. She says she's going to do me. Then she doesn't. Then she blames herself. I mean, I want a divorce.
A divorce.
I want a divorce. You know, what would
Joanna? I've never heard this. That is the best thing. I was like, where are we going with this? That makes so much sense.
We're divorcing our non-negotiables and with our money every single day.
Yeah. What would your money say? Okay, for example, would your money say if you went to the counselor, she thinks I'm dirty. She doesn't want to make love on me. She doesn't want to have sex on me. She wants to, you know what I mean? She doesn't want to even put me in her wallet. She just wants to put me as a credit card. I want cash. Like, what would money actually say?
She crumbles me up.
She crumbles, but yeah, she doesn't put me face forward. She's embarrassed of me. She doesn't want to tip.
She doesn't put me first. That's the thing. Like, you put yourself first, you put your money first. There is something so, and like a lot of our mentors, like Chris Harder talks about a lot of, when you have respect for your money, it will grow, it will show up for you in ways that you can't even foresee. So, that's why investing in coaches that can teach you more, investing in mindset coaches around confidence and just your own personal mindset around any of these things that might be lighting you up as you listen to us talk about it, like, that's what you need to lean into. And my favorite saying, anytime I'm triggered about money, anytime I feel stressed about something, I literally stop and pause and I say, money flows to me easily and freely. And I repeat that until I embody it and it calms me down. And then I move on with whatever it is, check I'm writing, a disaster that has happened, car, the house, whatever. There's always something that's going to like jolt you into that. Generally, if something comes at you like that, you're not like, no big deal for that $400 parking ticket. I eat parking tickets for breakfast. Like, nobody wants to like pay bills like that. But it's like being able to be like, that was fucking cool. I had plenty of money to pay that bill. And just letting it go. And, Chris told us a story a long time ago. If you guys don't know Chris Harder, look him up. But he talked about an incident that happened with his dog. And they wanted to find some things out. And that was like, oh, he's old and it's probably going to run you like 10 grand to like run all these tests and do all these things. And the guy just assumed that he wasn't going to pay the money. And he remembered he felt so disrespected that the guy just assumed that maybe he didn't have the money or that his dog wasn't worth spending the money. And it was in that moment that I think it shifted for him, because I think it was right around that time that he created Money Principles, which is a program you can go through. And he said, if the power of money gives me the ability to write a check to solve a problem, like, I'm all in. And that's what pushes someone like him and a lot of people to make the money that they make and to keep working, so that if anybody in their circle of whatever, family, animal, a church, a place needs a check, if money can fix it, like, how powerful is that? So that's why, he talks about too, having money in the power in the hands of women is so much more powerful, because we do things from emotion and from a need place. And so filling needs through people that emotionally are stressed, it's like, what a powerful gift to have. And so it's like I think our right and, your guys's permission slip here to do and live and figure out ways that you can live in abundance like that.
Well, you just remind me of something, Jessica. So sorry, Joanna. But when women make money, they actually give it back to the community. Like, it's actually a study, like, if a man makes more money, what does he do with that money? Keeps it. If a woman makes more money, she's like, oh, the church needs it, this school needs it, this needs it. Like, not that women are frivolous at all, but that they're very much givers. That's what we are. And so it is okay, women, to talk about money, make money, be excited about making money, because inevitably in your spirit is someone who's going to give that to someone who needs it. And I have to say, like, when I started investing in myself, and actually prioritizing myself more, it took me a long time. It wasn't like I've been doing this forever. But when I started doing that was about a year before the pandemic started. My father had to live with me for 3 months. I had a room for him to live in. I could afford food for him. I could afford him to go to the same gym as me. I could afford all these things. So, and that would have sucked, because if I couldn't afford those things, then I would have felt like a little bit resentful that he's here in my house and he's eating all of my food. It was like, it's just money. Like, we have it. We have such little time with him on this earth, so I think that that's a really good thing to take away from that.
Yeah, I love that story, Jessica, when he told that, because the doctor assumed that was too much money, that most of us in this reality can't afford that for a dog. And he's like, you don't know what I have. Oh, So we never know what people have. That was a great story. This was such a great conversation, gals. I could sit here and have conscious conversations with you for hours and hours. And I hope everybody listening really took something away. And with that, I would love to do a little round robin, quick little share. So Pinky, what are you walking away with today? One little nugget.
Well, prioritizing yourself, and that having that 2 hour, that 5 a.m. wake up time, and it might not be 5 a.m. for me, but it was a lot of aha moments for me, realizing my body, like when you guys were talking about it, my body was like, this is exactly what you need, and it's what you're missing. So prioritizing yourself first always, so I can give more and be yeah, just to be able to give more and be my full self. So
It rang true for you. I always love that. Like your body will light up and will tell you what it wants. Like you get those goosebumps.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool, Pinky. Jessica, what's for you? What's your takeaway from today?
Well, a lot of what like Lesley talked about too, that like I talk about it a lot, I teach it a lot, and I do carve out time for it, but it's actually being present when I give myself that time to like do what I say in that time. But also the money thing is a great reminder for me. I did my FIN number and, it's close to $3 million based off of just like a base number. And so I'm ready to get to work and really streamline my accounts and figure out how I can start putting that money away because I am 40 as well. And in my industry, this is something that's not taught in the beauty industry around money. So thank you for that. That really was helpful.
And thanks, Jess. How I love she's like 3 million. Not many people would share their FIN number, right? Pinky, have you noticed that it's still kind of secretive?
Yeah, people kind of, or they flinch at it, or they can't believe it, or they're just like, I'm never going to be able to get there. And I'm like, so what are you going to do?
Yeah. The way Jessica said it was with such confidence and grace. I love it. Thank you. All right, Lesley, what are you walking away with? What's your takeaway?
Oh, I'm going to put my FIN number at my desk, like on my monthly thing, just so I can see it, just so that I know what I'm doing. Cause I get inspired by that stuff. I'm such like, and I feel like I can create money now. And I, just in case anyone's watching this, like, I don't think I can be there. I grew up without money. I grew up like with bill collectors calling. I grew up where you couldn't answer the phone because you had to like wait and see on the answer machine who it was, and then you could answer it. So I get you. Yeah. And I promise you, like when you get really clear on how much you have to make, when you have that confidence and you have your FIN number, you can actually get to a space where like it doesn't scare you. So that for me. And also I just want to thank Jessica because like I don't see my morning routine as a non-negotiable, but it really is. I mean, I work as if it's a non-negotiable, but keeping it in that way because we are about to go on our road trip. It is very easy for me to like go, it's really cold outside. I don't want to go for my morning walk, but I did invest in a coat that can take me into negative 35 so that I can keep my non-negotiables up at 5 a.m. on the East Coast. I'm not kidding.
That's a damn good coat.
It is. Yeah. Brad looked at me and he's like, what? I'm like, I've been saving for 4 years. Zip it. Like I am not going to be cold when I do my non-negotiables because I'm a cranky person every time I go to the East Coast because I'm freezing my ass off while I'm trying to get my walk in. So I just want to say thank you for giving it a title because then I can explain it to people. Like this is a non-negotiable for me. And like, I think people pay attention when you say that. And so I'm going for my morning walk. It's like this, my morning walk's a non-negotiable. I'll see you at breakfast after. Like, I think, so thank you for giving me a title for it.
I am so incredibly grateful for you ladies. Thank you so much. My takeaway is the FIN number. I learned it before with Pinky, but it's not forefront for me. And I would like to place it everywhere and talk about it and know that number. And so that I can go to couples counseling with my FIN number. And my FIN number is like, she loves me. We have a great relationship. Yeah, because right now there is no relationship with that number. Ladies, you are so magical. And I wonder what we can create even more in the world with, gosh, more money, more time for ourselves, and more love and more confidence and honesty. And by us shining brighter, will allow others to shine brightly as well. And just keep shining brighter. Everybody listening, shine freaking brighter. Just shine brighter. Even if it's dim. Even if you don't feel bright, if it's just a little bit more, shine a little bit brighter. And we would love if you would donate. And I will be showing you the cash. Last year, we raised $4,000. And I'll show the picture again, but on Instagram, I took the picture of all the money. And some people said, you posted that? Heck yeah, I posted it. I wanted everybody to see where their money was going. I wanted you to see personally that I was passing it out. And I took my dad with me. And it was the most incredible feeling ever to do that. It was just so beautiful. And it would be so great if you all, even if you donated $5, something, so that we can give them some cash and let them know, thank you for holding our world together and everything that you do for us. Please follow all of our gals today on our show notes. Follow them on Instagram, all the places. Facebook, everywhere. I love you, ladies. And until
Thank
next Slay
you.
Gals, happy holidays. Happy
Happy
Hanukkah to anybody celebrating right now. Happy New Year. And we'll see you in 2022. Bye.
Bye, ladies.
So fun.